Welcome to Business Aspirin, pain relief for business. Clint has managed a restoration company in Dallas since 2008 and is one of the top drying experts in his region. Clint is also the co-founder of JobDocs, a software developed to help his team manage their overwhelming volume of projects. On the podcast, Clint brings together business managers and leaders to share with you how they have overcome their business pains and how you can too. And now, here's your host, Clint Junell.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Business Aspirin. I'm your host, Clint Junell, and today I have on with me Mike Martinez. Mike is the owner of the franchise for Best Option Restoration out of the Denver area. Mike, welcome aboard.
Thanks, Clint. Appreciate you having me, man.
Man, excited to have you on. And I'm jealous that you're in Denver and you get to see the mountains and have the cool weather. And I think this last week it's been 118, 19 heat index here in DFW. So I may come see you. I should have done this live. We should have done this face to face, and I could have enjoyed the cool weather.
I know, man. You should have came out here. It's been warmer than we've had it. We've had a lot of rain recently, but yeah, it's been warm out here as well.
But still better than what we're dealing with. You have a sweatshirt on at least.
Yeah.
So that says something in itself. Mike, thanks so much for coming on. Let's talk to a little bit about Best Option Restoration and how you got into the space.
Yeah, absolutely. So Best Option Restoration, we're a franchise. The franchise was founded in 2016. The founder is Nick. He's the one that started Best Option Restoration. And he started in 2016. One of my best friends, he met with him, and he's the reason why I got into the business as well. I think they met in 2017. That's when my friend Kyle, he started his franchise as well. He works for corporate now. He contacted me. He was like, hey, man, I'm starting this journey. Do you want to join me? I was in the automotive industry at the time, and I was doing pretty well, I thought. And I was like, I'm good in the automotive industry for right now. And a couple of years went by. I would help him out, a couple projects here and there during the weekend or whenever I had some time. And it was around 2019. I had my review at the automotive shop, and I told the owner that I wanted to buy him out. I shot my shot, and family-owned business, very well organized. And he was like, I'm just not ready to sell, not ready to retire. I'm like, that's fair. I just need to do something for myself. Sure. So I got a hold of my friend Kyle, and he asked me, he was like, hey man, like, do you want to be in the automotive industry, or are you open to other possibilities at this point? Okay. And I told him, I was like, at this point, I'm open to other possibilities. He was like, well, you live up north, the north side of town. Why don't you start a franchise? I was like, you know what? Let's do it.
Yeah, so, why not? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said. Why not? So yeah, started the franchise in January of 2020.
Okay. So January of 2020. And then you ran right into a pandemic.
Yep.
Right in the middle of all of it. Wow.
Yeah.
So, and it's interesting, like it's hard to know when you do that, like nobody knows that this thing's going to take place, right? Nobody knows we're going to run into a worldwide crisis and how that would have impacted where you were at the time and having to leave that, right? But the reality is some of those are blessings, because you have to work hard when you wind up with starting a brand new business and you're in the middle of a anomaly crisis. So when you, like basically you just were making the decision that you just needed to do something else because you wanted to have your own thing. You were trying to buy out an automotive business. That didn't work. Owner wasn't ready to sell. So you wanted to have your own thing and be able to provide for yourself and your family on your own thing, and be that success or failure be dependent upon you, is what it sounds like to me.
Exactly. 100%.
Okay. So let's talk about the mentality to jump off and go, all right, I don't know if I can swim or not, but we're going to find out. Yeah,
man, that's exactly what happened. So, I've always been into sports myself, and I've always had the, that mentality where if I'm going to be in a team, it's going to be on me, whether I make the team or not. That competitiveness in me has always been there. And I think that relates very well to running a business. And just like you mentioned, I wanted either my failure or my success to be on me, not anybody else. And I just felt like, I'm one of those people where, I don't say I make money. I make this much amount of money. I earn this much money. That's my mentality. So yeah, starting the business was tough. When I first started the business, I was like, I might just eat rice and beans for this year because I don't know how it's going to go. Sure. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, wow, like I might just either rice or beans because everybody's home, nobody's going out and about. But that the mentality challenge, man, it's tough. I'm not gonna lie. I'm never gonna forget this. In May of 2020, I did not get a single phone call at all for the business, and it was right in the beginning. Nobody knew exactly what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And I remember at that time, I was still going to, networking events whenever I could online, but not a single phone call. And I remember
Colorado, Denver market, you guys were shut down for how long really in terms of the majority of businesses in the Denver area when you guys were opening up?
So the pandemic started right about March.
In fact, the state got closed right around the spring break. So mid-March, because I was en route to Telluride to go ski when the governor said, hey, everything's shut down.
Okay. So yeah, mid-March. And I want to say things opened up again in August of 2020, everything opened up again. So it's been a couple months. It was a couple months. But yeah, I remember having a conversation with one of my mentors at that time. And I asked them, I was like, hey man, like, is there something that I'm doing that I shouldn't be doing? Or is there something that I'm doing that I'm not doing that I should be doing? And then he asked me, well, what are you doing? So I talked him through the process of what I was doing. And he was like, honestly, Mike, you're doing everything that you need to do. There's a lot of people that are taking this time to just chill and relax and take a vacation because everything's shut down. You're not doing that. So by the time everything opens up again, you're going to be up and going and you're going to know what you need to do and people are going to know who you are. And that's exactly what happened, man. We've been super blessed and we've been steady with work since August of 2020.
It's awesome, man. What's your wheelhouse? You mostly water?
Mostly water and mold. And we do some fire as well.
Yeah, but primarily residential water.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, so let's talk about, like, obviously the questions change a little bit in regard to the podcast. Because obviously something like one of the questions I like to ask regularly is, what is something that you wish you knew when you started the business? And in your case, one of the answers to those is that there was going to be a pandemic in 2 months, right? But other than that, like, talk to me about what are some things that when you decided to jump off and have your own business, from being an employee at an automotive space, jumping into an industry you didn't really know or understand fully, right? And becoming the owner of a franchise in that. Talk to me about, like, what is there something that you wish you would have known?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things, man. I didn't know anything about the industry, just like you said. So learning the ropes on the restoration industry, that was I had to learn that as well. But not only that, the running a business, it's its own unique, vehicle that you have to drive. And there's a lot of things that people think that a business is easy to run. And that's why a lot of people don't make it past 3 years. Yeah. 3 to 5 years is you either make it or you don't.
The majority of all of them fail in the first 5.
Yeah. So it's not easy, just like we talked about earlier as well. It's the failure or success is going to be on me. So what I wish I knew is I wish when I started the business, I wish I knew more people when I started. The networking aspect of it.
Okay.
I didn't know how to market. I didn't know how to network. Talking sports to me, it's easy. I can do it all day long, but not everybody talks about sports all day, every day.
Right. So being able to find that connection with people is tough sometimes too, right? And being able to grab onto something that you have in common with someone to build a relationship can be difficult for sure.
And I thought, when I first started, I thought that all business owners had the same mentality. And that's not the case. Some people like to be owner operator, which is not a bad thing, but you can't really grow a big company that way. And there's other people that they do see a vision where they want to grow their own company into something big that it's well known. You know, you can have a small company that's well known, don't get me wrong, but, you know, being an owner operator, if you're not on the field, you're not really making money.
Sure.
So
sure.
I also had to learn that as well from the business aspect of it.
Yeah. So it's interesting, like when you first start out and you're trying to navigate growing a business and developing your business and your brand, it's interesting because you have to wear a lot of hats. You get to do everything. I got to do the networking. I've got to do the marketing. I've got to do the billing. I've got to do the collection. I've got to actually sling the fans and extract the water. Until you get a team in place, then you have to be able to accomplish all the different tasks. And then as you get to the point where you have a team, then you have to start relying on them in order to do what you're talking about, which is grow your business. You have to put some trust in your team to be able to accomplish what is before them and have some successes there so that you can go out and get the next work coming in, build the next relationship, and provide that opportunity for the growth that you're hopeful for. And I certainly can appreciate that. And that's the tough part, right? That's where early on you said, you know, owning a business is hard. And it is, because you got to be able to do all those things. And if you haven't done that before, it sounds like a really great idea, right? Oh man, I'm going to own my own business and I'm going to do this and I'm going to be rich and I'm going to have all the time in the world. And then suddenly you're poor and you have no time and you got to try to navigate how to figure out how to do all those things and work all of it together and worry about how you're going to feed your family and how you're going to feed your employees' families and all those things. So absolutely learning how to network is significant. And kudos to recognizing that, because that's what in a lot of cases leads to the next business being known so that people know who you are and what service you provide is vital to the growth of a business if you're going to be providing services to the consumer.
No, 100%, man. I do want to touch a little bit on what you said. You know, everybody wants to start a business to become rich. And you have to be careful when you do make money. You have to be careful on how to manage your money.
Absolutely.
I really wasn't managing my money all that well when I first started. And, you know, I was like, oh, I have this amount of money. Let's go out and buy more equipment. Did I really need that equipment? At the time, I didn't. I do now because, you know, we're doing a lot more projects now. But was it the right time? Possibly not. Or, you know, going out and buying a bigger, nicer vehicle. Is it really necessary? Probably not at the time. So being able to manage your finances, because as you know, sometimes, you know, we do a lot of insurance work. So that cash flow can be a long period of time sometimes.
Absolutely.
So being able to manage your money and see months ahead, so that way you do have enough cash in the bank to be able to pay your employees, you know, cover insurance, cover all the expenses that you have. It's critical because your employees' families do rely on you. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, you making a bad decision hurts them, right? You make a bad 100%. Decision. And so I appreciate you saying that, you know, and that was a conversation that I had with a recent podcast as well is, you know, being smart enough to have a 3 to 6 month slush fund to cover your expenses. And the reality is, especially in the restoration space, service industry guys get in a position where they start having some success and they want the big truck, right? They want to show off who they are and what they've done. And in a lot of cases, they do that, like what you're saying, a little too soon, where they should have held off for a little bit and made sure they had that slush fund, because the reality is not having money to cover an emergency could ruin your business. And then you're out of luck, where 100%. Not having the nice brand new truck isn't. Like, just wait a little bit, be smart. Like, don't be so caught up in the successes that you make stupid decisions, especially in the service industry, the restoration space specifically, because it's cyclical, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily always have because you made $50,000 this month doesn't mean you're going to make $50,000 the next 2 months. You might not make anything next month, right? Just depends on what's happening and what's going on in the market and what you respond to. And you got to be aware of that and pay attention to that. So I mean, I think that's wisdom right there, dude, is to recognize that. Now, did you do it right? Apparently not, right? Because you looked at it and went, I'm not sure I did that right. But it didn't hurt you, fortunately, right? But the ability to recognize, Mike, that it could have is significant. And being able to share that to those that are listening to this podcast going, hey, man, like nobody's going to judge you because you don't have the biggest truck right now. Keep your nose down, keep grinding and make good decisions and grow your business and be prepared for the what ifs. And I love that, dude. I love that idea.
Yeah. If I was to give any advice to anybody that's starting a restoration company anytime soon is, obviously you have you keep your bank account separate. I always did that from the beginning. Don't get me wrong, but within your business, have multiple accounts within your business.
Yeah. Separate things out.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one of the issues that I didn't do myself in the beginning because all the money was coming in and it was just in one account. And I was like, I have this amount of money. Let's go out and buy the latest and greatest. Where I was like, do I really need that right now? So now I have multiple accounts where as soon as the money comes in, certain percentage goes to each account. And now I don't have to worry about payroll. I don't have to worry about, paying my franchise fees. Don't have to worry about taxes at the end of the year. As soon as the money comes in, percentage goes out to each individual account. And I don't even see that.
Right.
I just focus on that one main account that's there. I'm like, all right, I have this amount of money left over.
Yeah. And that's beautiful, man. And I love that you've recognized that and you've done that. Was there something that told you to do that? Or is it just mentally you were like, hey, or you follow some kind of process or some kind of leadership book or some kind of operating system? Like where did you come up with that mentality?
Well, I came up with that. I mean, I read it in the book. I forgot the name of the book that I read. It was on top of my mind, but it all started because, I had to pay my taxes and I'm like, wow, I have to pay this much. So that's where I got it from. And then I read a book and
sure. Split that out, have that all saved out somewhere. No, that's fair, man. You don't have to come up with the name of the book. I get it. Just wondered if it was something that's like, hey, somebody told me this, or I read this, or where that came from. But, and that's like, I try to encourage guys on a regular basis to go out and read, go out and navigate new things, find new information on how to establish processes and how to grow a business. And because that's what pain necessitates the need for improvement. Right. And so in your case, it's like, oh shit, man, I got to pay this tax bill.
Yeah.
I probably should have saved some of that money a little differently. Right. And I tell guys that all the time in regard to, developing a business is you got to pay attention to like, there are expenses that are coming. Insurance is coming, rent is coming, taxes are coming. The oh-nos are coming, a truck gets T-boned by somebody and you got to replace that truck and you got to make sure you're set correctly for all of that and that you're insured well. And all of that's expensive. And that's part of what makes running a business hard for sure.
Yeah.
So how many employees you got now?
So right now we have a team of 5.
Okay.
5 employees. Yep.
Okay. So you're running a couple of trucks out in the field right
trucks.
now?
Yeah, nice. Out there running around.
Excellent, man. And so about how many projects do you think you're running a year?
A year? Ooh.
Or a month or a day or however you want to break it down.
So we average about 4 to 5 jobs a week right now. So we do about, 15, 20 jobs a month that are water jobs. So it keeps our guys busy. Absolutely.
Good, man. That's excellent. Absolutely. It's, like there's a lot of guys that would love to be able to do a job a day, right? They would love to be able to get to that point. And so kudos on reaching that milestone. That's success, right? And it's providing you some chances to grow and develop and do that. And that's amazing. In regard to the projects, so you've got to the point where you're doing one a day. You've got a team of 5. What are some of the pains that you experience in operating all of it, right? Like, or navigating it? Like, where do you feel pains currently?
Well, it's a little bit of all. Like I don't have kids myself, but having employees, I kind of see it like having kids.
Sure.
You're not going to be able to please every single one of them. Not everybody's going to want to be able to. Nobody wants to work, but people have to work. And some people, they show up and they don't want to do anything. So being able to go into the shop and, you have to bring the energy yourself as a business owner. If you are a business owner and you are dragging your feet and you're a Debbie Downer, your team's going to see that and they're going to carry that energy with them. So being able to bring the energy in an upbeat energy every single day, you have to be on your A game when you come into the shop and
Absolutely,
talk to your team. So that's one of them. Employees, I mean, people are going to always complain about employees, but being able to motivate them, it's going to help you and your team and just build a culture that you want to build a culture around.
Sure.
So that, and then just the other thing, the marketing aspect of it, just going out there and talking to, good power partners that are good for us. Not everybody's open to that. So that's another thing that we got to work around with.
Yeah. Finding partnerships and relationships that can help you grow. Hang on for me just one second, Mike. I'm like, something's beeping with my alarm system and I want to see if I can navigate what's going on and turn that off. So I'm going to pause the recording for a second. We'll have them edit this part out and then I'll be right back. Hang on just one second. Okay, Mike. So let's talk a little bit then about how you motivate those employees that you're navigating, right? Like everybody right now, like you mentioned, is having a hard time getting employees and getting them to stay up. Have you had most of your guys for a little bit of time, or are you having to replace them?
I've been super blessed. I haven't really had that much turnover myself, but motivating them, everybody gets motivated differently. There's people that are motivated by money. There's people that are motivated by time off. So, there's several things that I give my guys to be motivated. People that are motivated by money, like I give them an incentive. Like, hey, that you can do this things and you can make a little bit more money if you do this list of things. People that are motivated by time off, like, hey, if you want to get off earlier, show up earlier. We don't have a set time that we need to start projects. As you know, being in the restoration industry, we work 24/7, 365 days out of the year. So if there's an emergency that came that night of, people want to get it done right away. Sure. So if people want to start earlier, they can get done earlier. And most of my guys are younger. So, and most of them are into sports as well. So we do have season tickets to baseball games and basketball games. That way they can go to games in the summer and in the winter as well.
Nice. Well, that's super fun. So you just have the tickets and it's on a rotation cycle, or they get to ask when they want it. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love that you do that for your guys. So teaching your staff how to do their jobs, you find it challenging to get your team to execute on the things they need to execute on, or does it go relatively well?
It can be tough. They definitely go through a probational period. We teach them. I think people that are in this industry, they learn hands-on, or otherwise they wouldn't be in this industry. So people tend to learn more when they're on the field. So they do go through some training videos. There is IICRC certifications that we go through, but you can only learn so much seeing it.
Sure.
People usually learn more by doing it. So they do, they shadow one of our other crew members, and they just learn on the field for the probational period. Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's not always, people don't always do everything that they need to do. They are going to forget to take pictures.
Sure.
They are going to forget to get the insurance claim number, the adjuster's contact information. So it's going to happen, but also having processes and procedures written out. That way you hand them the process and procedures, and they, it's funny. When we have reviews with our guys, like, hey, I want to race. I'm like, well, there's certain things that need to be worked on. And, we have our process procedures that we follow, and there's some improvement that can be worked on. So how about we focus on these items,
right? And
then we can talk about, getting it race at that point.
Okay. And then does that seem to be effective?
It's effective.
Right.
Because it's they get it from the beginning. They get a ran process and procedures, and then, we have, KPIs as well. And they know. It's like, it's like a quarterback. A quarterback can go out there and be like, expect a $100 million contract by throwing one touchdown. Right. It's just not going to happen. You have to perform as well as an employee.
Excellent point. What is a mistake that you have made that's hard to fix?
I don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know that one either. It's like
Alexa doesn't know. I'm not sure why it's going off over here, but whatever.
Yeah. I'd probably say learning to let go.
Okay. Explain that. Let's talk about that.
It's, I think this is where a lot of owner operator trades fall into, where they, like, speaking for myself, I'm a perfectionist at times, and I want things to go a certain way. And if they don't go that way, I can get frustrated. I've learned to let go of that a little bit, because it goes back to, I want to build this to where it's running by its own. I want to grow this to, I don't have just 5 employees. I want to have 50. I want to have over 100 employees where I can service a bigger area, and we're a very well-known company. So, but I can't get there if I don't let go of things. Absolutely. So, that's where a lot of owner-operator trades fall into. They want everything to go their way. And when they hire someone, their employee makes a mistake, and they're like, oh, just go home. I'll fix it myself. Well, you can't do that. You have to take that opportunity to teach them on how to be better. If you don't take that opportunity to teach them, they're never going to learn. And if they never learn, you're never going to grow. That's right. I would say that was a key. That's
an excellent point. We've brought that up on the podcast before, where the reality is there are companies that do not grow ever, because the owner of that company does require that their hands touch everything. And at your point, if you're doing a job a day, you can't touch every project anymore. That's too many for you to navigate trying to touch on a regular basis. And as a result, you're going to okay, go touch them all. But if you touch them all, it can't be 5. It can't be 5 a week. It can't be 1 a day. It's too many. And so kudos for recognizing that, because there's a lot of guys that still haven't figured that out. And absolutely, it will stifle your growth a little bit, because you're not going to be able to get past the limited number of jobs that you can actually touch. So empower your team to be able to have some successes and teach them, like you said. And I think that's insanely valuable.
And it's okay to make mistakes as well.
Absolutely.
I've told my team, man, I tell them, if you guys make a mistake, own up to it. Let me know. Obviously, if it's a big issue, let me know, and we'll make it right. But take that opportunity to learn what happened and make sure that doesn't happen again.
Absolutely.
But but they have to be comfortable with telling you that they messed up.
Sure. It's a matter of how you address that with them and how you fix it with the client, right?
Yep.
Fix the problem. And the reality is most clients are comfortable with mistakes being made. If we lived in a perfect world and nothing ever went wrong, the restoration industry wouldn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
It exists for a reason, because things go wrong. And so how you address that, how you bring that to your client and go, hey, man, here's something that happened. We're going to fix this thing up. Just want to let you know. Most customers are perfectly content in that environment, and you fix it and you move on, and you're good to move down the road. And that's excellent, man. So great catch on recognizing that, and then empowering your team to actually go out and do the things they need to do and both succeed and fail. So I think you're doing that really well, man. That's exciting.
Thanks. Yeah. Thank you.
With all your success, the growth you had, what do you think is your biggest challenge right now?
I'd probably say just the marketing aspect of it, getting out there, getting our name. I'm trying to grow this organically, to an extent. In our era, if you're not on Google, you don't exist. But going out there and shaking hands, kissing babies, that cannot go away. And there's only one of me. Nobody's going to sell my business like the way that I do. Sure. I may be able to go out and hire someone and be a business developer, and they can go out there, but they're not going to speak the way that I speak about the company, because, it's my baby. So, I consider myself like an introvert for the most part. Okay. And, getting out of my shell, going out to talk to people, it was a challenge at first. I've gotten better at it. I've gotten more comfortable about it, and I don't mind talking about it now. And just having a, small talk, even small talk sometimes, can brighten someone's day. So just going out and, marketing and not spending thousands of dollars in Google ads just because some people don't.
Yeah, sure. So in a lot of cases, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are also introverted, right? To go out and what I call work a room is not their idea of a great time. Having to go out in a room full of 100 people and interact and mingle and talk and discuss business and smile and shake hands with all these people is a drain on them. And so it's frustrating to do that. They want to be out doing what they do as a business, but do this because they know they have to. So one of the things that's been mentioned that we've discussed that is pretty successful in regards to the networking side of things and being involved is don't try to be all things to all people in every room you walk in. Make a couple of connections. Make the small talk that you were mentioning about. Meet one or two people, build a good relationship with one or two people in that event and carry something from that relationship on. And then the next time you go to a room, make another connection with one or two people. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that starts to build a business for you and build your brand because people are aware of what you do. And you start getting referral business and getting calls as a result of your community involvement and things that you do. I would encourage you to find community events that you can be a part of and support. If there's something to support the police officers, if there's something to support moms, if there's something to support abused children, if there's some form of organization that you can find that you can jump in and be a part of and go all in on. Those kind of things work really well from some of that. So, and Mike, for real, I'm a resource for you, for anybody that's listening to the podcast. Like, you guys know how to get a hold of me. Let's connect. And I'm happy to navigate any of this with you and try to help where I can. And where I can't, or I'm not spectacular at, I've got team members that are, or other listeners, other businesses I'm connected to, guys that can certainly help us figure these things out together. And that's what we're all about.
Yeah, that's great. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. I want to be aware of your time. We're at 12:40 at this point, so we're a little longer than what we had kind of shot for originally. Is there anything that you want to share with the listeners about growing a business or navigating all of it together that we haven't discussed already?
No, not really. But, going back to the networking aspect of it, when you said you don't have to be all to everybody, I was at fault at that in the beginning. And just going out there, let's say you have one or two networking events a week. And if you just meet that one person, make sure you follow up with that person to begin with. Sure. Your money will come from your follow-ups. But even if you just try to go out and meet one person per networking events, let's say you have two a week. Well, if you tell yourself, I only have to meet two people in a week, that's easy. Well, the compound effect to that's over 100 people a year, and you don't know who they know that are going to connect you to you as well. So that I also had to learn that myself. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up again. Yeah,
for sure. Well, Mike, it sounds like you're off to a good start. You got a good head on you. You're evaluating things seemingly well. And I think you're going to have a lot of success, man. And I really appreciate you being on the podcast with me today and chatting. And just know I'm here, man, if I can help.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Thanks again for having me on the show. It's exciting to see other people in the field that have been doing this for a long time that are successful. So I'm excited for the future.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for being on.
Appreciate it.
We'll talk soon.
This has been a Business Aspirin, Pain Relief for Business podcast. If you're a business owner trying to overcome your business pains, follow us on Apple Podcasts or visit our website for more information, job-docs.com.